We are now live. So we're just gonna get into the how we set up the chart right away, and we start with the monthly time frame always. So this is the monthly level it's holding. This is a monthly level we're interested in, and this is another monthly level we're interested in as well too. These are the untested swings. We have actually 3 days and 20 hours in the month. So you really want to see price hold above um, 102,377. If you get a close below this level on the monthly time frame, you are going to probably get the push to at least 96,000. So if you close below here, you're going to get a push to 96,000. So that's what I would watch out for in 3 days. If this doesn't hold, then you're going to have the big push to 83,000 looking at the monthly time frame. Is that clear? I hope that's clear. So that's all I have for the monthly. I'll push it to the weekly. So I've said this several times. These were the weekly levels I was watching, and I was actually hoping for it to act as resistance, and it didn't act as resistance, which is okay. It doesn't always have to act as resistance, but that's why we had our invalidations based off of the daily, and you should have got stopped out on your trade if you tried to short this box. We have almost 3 days with the weekly as well. I think the weekly and monthly are going to coincide with each other again this month. So if the weekly closes back above 104 to 102,000, we are actually looking very solid for new all-time highs. If that happens, all-time highs are on the table for Bitcoin. So if you're a bull and if you want to see higher prices, if we get the monthly close above here, the weekly close above here, we are good for all-time highs on Bitcoin, because these levels here, where's my tools? Oh, here's my tools. These levels here are tested. This is tested because they tested this swing here and they tested it twice, and they're actually trying to approach it. And we're going to go over this part right now of what is possibly going to happen. I know a lot of people are looking for rejection here, and there is a very high possibility of it rejecting given of how the daily trend is looking. And we did make new lows on the weekly because we just been basically trending down, making new low, new low, new low, and this is a higher, lower high, lower high, lower high. And that's the question: is this a lower high? So we are tightening. So we are possibly gonna maybe get a big nasty candle in the next few days, and this candle ends up not closing above 104 or 102k, and we probably get to 96, right? The reason why we bounced from where we bounced and why the bounce was so strong from the last weekly was because if you remember from my last streams, I was marking this swing right here at 98,000, and I say this time and time again: when we are looking for reversals in trend, we're looking at it from the weekly or monthly. Those are your highest probability of catching a reversal in either direction. And that's why we bounced from right there, was this weekly level I was talking about. Now that they tested this weekly level, I'm not very interested in bidding it again, because at that point you're just hoping that if you were looking for higher, you would want this to be the low, and you would want to see higher lows relative to this low right here where my cursor is exactly pointing at. So that's what you're looking for if you want to see trend to reverse, right? So I'm gonna remove that. I'm not interested in the bottom swings here, and I noted this several times, but because these levels are tested. They're tested because they've already used the energy here, right? They already gave the bounce from that level. So if they are going to dump it and 96 doesn't hold, this line is not going to be here. This line is not support for me. I have support all the way down here to 86,000. I have support here at 80, and I have support at 78,000. Then again, marking my trends, this took you up, this took you down, and where did this take you? All the way to those all-time highs. So this is your current leg, the leg from 74,000 all the way to 111, 112,000. That is your leg that you are watching. This is a leg that you're possibly going to be playing, right? As of right now. You look at things to the left within that leg if it's going to hold or not. And we know right here within this region, it's tested. So I'm not really interested in bidding that because they've already used that over here. So the middle of the range here is very important given that we have 2 days left in the weekly. I repeat myself then and again, and I will continue to repeat myself because it is honestly all repetitive. You know what to look for. You should be able to print the stories of where price is going, where it's not going. You shouldn't just be guessing. We are planning out, we're mapping out, oh, I'm not expecting this area to hold. I know that it's going to go through here. So the ranges here are pretty damn big if we lose 96,000. Claro? Okay. I know everyone is just interested in the daily, right? I'm not going to mark this weekly swing layout. Okay, let's go to the daily. Okay. Daily. I'm going to remove this for now. Okay. So, as of right now, I posted in the Discord and I posted on Twitter, I believe, that this daily level is the daily level you need to hold, right? It's very important to hold because if you do not hold this level, you're looking for a very steep drop on Bitcoin. So the reason why this level is important, we're going to mark the trends again. If I know where my trend line is, I'm in the wrong section. My trend line. So basically you came up, right? And then you came down, right? You came up and you came down. So we know this is very important because that took you up to that swing. This was the start of that trend down. So if you lose this, you're going to push more or less to back down to that weekly level. But looking at it from the daily time frame, actually now I'm looking at it. We do have a daily support level here. Maybe here. We do have a daily support level right here at 105. I'm looking at that right now. I just caught my eye. So because this is the swing that took you up, we are marking the bottom close of that swing, right? Of that trend. Actually, it would have to be here. My mistake, guys. It has to be here because the trend starts from down here. I'm going to circle it out for you. I'm not perfect, right? No one's perfect. The trend starts here, right? That's the low of that trend. And that low took you all the way up to here. So you actually need to hold 105.6, right? And they didn't test it off of that daily. So that is a valid clean level to hold on Bitcoin if we do get a pullback here, right? And then if we're going to lose 105, this level here is tested, right? They tested this from here. So they sort of cleared most of the liquidity if you lose 105K, right? Then if you're looking at the daily, we have daily support here, marking the trends. This took you up, right? You can pretty much see the whole entire picture of this, right? These are your trends here. So that took you up. So if we hold 101, then you can start to see probably a hold of support and maybe push higher. So to be honest, we could still be chopping. I'm just a little bit more curious to see what would happen if we do lose 105.6 now. Because if we do lose 105.6, then you're probably coming down to that daily level at 101.5. You actually have support here as well too. Right. Man, I'm sorry. I'm really crappy with these lines. The daily right here. Because now you sort of see this, right? The trend here came all the way up. That's why I marked 101.8. That's why I marked 101.5. So it's like a nice area. You could honestly draw a nice little box here of support on the daily. So, so we know what I just said on the weekly, right? We are making lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. And now we're asking ourselves, if this is this going to be a lower high relative to there? And that's sort of where you're sort of looking at right now, because that's why people are thinking it could possibly reject here. And if this is the lower high and you're looking at the bigger picture, right, and this is making lower low and lower low, right, disregard everything here, right? Just disregard the support levels. If you're just playing the idea, if this is going to make a new lower low, it would be lower than here, right? So then that's how you would come to your 96,000 support. Is that clear? So we could come down, test it, but if you start getting, this is the most important thing, you start getting daily closes below here, right? And you start closing below like the weekly levels here, and you start closing below here, then you can start to be like, okay, it's losing levels, it's losing daily levels, it's retesting it, and then you're probably going to get the play to 96,000. So I'm going to clean up some of these orange lines, because actually on the 4 hour, we just closed the 4 hour, like what, 10 minutes ago? So I'm going to push it to the 4 hour as of right now. Okay. This is, you can probably catch a trade here if you're interested in something. So what do we know? These levels here are tested. So if we're going to pump, we could expect a new high above 108.2. Let's look left. I think I'm missing some daily levels above. 1 second. I know there's a daily level here that's untested, and this is your start of that trend down, right? I can mark these trends if you want. I'm going to mark the trend so you guys see the trends, right? You came up and you came down. So that's why I'm marking the trend. So this level, they didn't test it yet. There was no wick on it, and they didn't test this one either. So that's why I'm really interested to see what happens at 109 or 110. Even as high as 111. That's like your all-time high, start of your trend down. So going back to the 4 hour. Okay. As of right now, this current moment, price is at resistance on the 4 hour. I am watching this level for a possible rejection. But you closed above this support right here at 107.2. So there's one of two things. If you reject here, and then on the next 4 hour, you get a close. You get a close below here. You could probably push down, and then you're probably going to test this. Right? You can probably push down and test this on the 4 hour. If you get a 4 hour close below 106.9, I think you're going to probably get the dump to around 105.6. So if you want, I'm not saying, not financial advice, short is valid here. Short is valid here and long is valid here. You just have to watch these ranges because you're looking at two things right now. It's either can go up from here, and then if you close above 107.4, it could go up from here as well. So if you get a 4 hour close above 107.4, it could go up. If you get closes below, but you have to close a little bit more, 106.8, you can look at 105. But you're trending down as well too, right? High, lower high, lower high, low, lower low. So as of right now, if you're making lower highs and lower lows, it's probably more likely you're going to push down. But this is how you're going to manage your risk. You got to watch this level right here. See what the reaction is. If it is strong and then you get 4 hour closes above here, you're good to go for higher, to be honest. Could still reject here. What if it just does another lower high? Keep in mind. But it's more likely that you're going to push up. Given that on the daily, we didn't close below there. So it is holding that daily level pretty nicely. So if it didn't close below there, and if you're going to approach this daily level again, it's probably not going to hold because they've already tested it twice. I think that's pretty much for Bitcoin right now. Full disclosure, I'm actually short. I was short all day today on Bitcoin. And then I went to go, I was short around 107.3. We're literally at my entry. I'm currently watching it. Then I went to go train Muay Thai. And I was away from my thing for a while, so I didn't get to see this right here. Otherwise, I probably would have watched out because we didn't close the daily below. But we'll see what happens. That is that for Bitcoin. Any questions on Bitcoin, or should I continue on to Ethereum? Hi, Retired. How are you? Haven't seen you in here. Hi, Snoozeberries. How are you guys? You guys can use the chat if you want to ask anything. Okay, we'll go to Ethereum. I'm gonna start on. I'm gonna start on the monthly, as always. Yeah, Coinbase chart is good. Okay, Ethereum. They're gonna mark the monthly levels, and the reason why I start with the monthly time frame, and I start these charts, completely from scratch because I want you guys to see how I started, how I set it up, and all that. Because if I'm just like have the chart with all the levels on there and I'm not explaining it to you, it doesn't make sense. So I'm just basically repeating myself every stream, and then it becomes very fluid for you after that. So as of right now, this monthly level at 3283 is the most important monthly level on Ethereum because this is the swing that took you all the way down to those lows at 900. So if you get above 3283, you are going to come here and test 4634. So if you get above the monthly here, you have another 40% from that price. And the reason why it's likely because they've already tested this level here, these levels here, with that wick and that wick. So the liquidity there is gone. So it should give a very aggressive pump if it does start to get above 3283. We're not there yet, but there are signs, there are clues that maybe we will probably get there. What other monthly levels I'm looking at? What is untested? 3011 is untested as of right now. So on the last monthly, you got a very shallow close above the swing here. And this is the swing here that took you up, right? It'll actually come from here. If you want the exact candle, but they're all like exactly the same. It's actually that candle right here, the big down one, right? Always look at the one. This is the most important thing. Look at the one if you want to know what candle to mark. You look at the one that took you to the low, right? This is the lowest candle. I want to give you another example why you need to watch that. Let's go to Bitcoin on another clean chart. This is just for educational purposes, right? Let's do it on the weekly. I think so you guys have a better idea of what I'm looking at. Right? So for instance here, was it here? Well, that was your swing down. 1 second. There's usually examples of like, I want to give a very prime example. I don't know if I can find it right now. Oh yeah, here. You always mark the candle that took you down to that low. This is always, you look at whatever is the lowest point or the highest point, for instance. What was the move that took you to those highs? What was the move that took you to those lows? And then usually you will see how you can get the bigger picture. But there was something here. I'm looking for it. I don't know. We'll come back another time to it. I can't really find it. If it pops up in my head while I'm thinking about it, I'll definitely bring it up again. Okay, going back to the monthly here. So that's why I marked that candle. Okay, monthly. So these are the monthly levels I'm currently watching for. As of right now, I do not have anything below other than this right here. This is a candle that, well, there you go. There's a candle that took you to that low. That's why I marked this one. And it's that start of your trend up. So this is your current trend on Ethereum as of right now. You can actually mark this trend as well too. Right. So these are your trends on the monthly. Let's break it down to the weekly. So as of right now, why Ethereum rejected where it rejected the other day is because it tested this monthly level and weekly level. And the weekly level comes from right here as well. It's the same exact level. I don't want to put two lines on top of each other, but it's this swing right here is why price rejected where it rejected right now on Ethereum. It did reject. Is it going to make a new trend down? It could, but we have to look left and see where price is holding and where it needs to hold in order to do so. So looking at the weekly, this is one of your weekly trends up. So I'm going to mark that W. And then what else do we have? This is another weekly level that I'm looking at, 2297. Then the weekly levels below is 2005. And then you have 1886. So you have a lot of weekly support down here. Same scenario more or less with Bitcoin. It closed below. Now we have 2 days left in the week and it's closed above. So let's see how this week ends. If it closes above 2456, it's actually very damn bullish because this is all just liquidity cleared up here trying to go higher, right? When I say higher, like this stuff, the liquidity here is pretty much all gone. So if you get a weekly close above 2456, you could expect a retest to push us to these monthly levels right here. They also cleared this out as well too. So that's what I want to be watching out for as well. You have actually a nice confluence here with another weekly level right there. So let's push it to the daily on Ethereum. Okay. On the daily, it actually looks pretty good, honestly. Because as of right now, you're holding this daily level right here at 2415. Hi, Antronic. How are you? And hello, El Sideth. El Chilito, what's up? So this daily swing is holding very clearly. And we'll mark the trend right here. This is what took you up to that high. So if we do start to pump here on Ethereum, it could get pretty aggressive, in my opinion. You're coming for a second test here on the daily. If it does reject here on the daily, you're going to more likely get a push down on Ethereum. 1 second, guys. My dog wants to... I closed the door. He wants to come in. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. I have a water bowl in my room because he doesn't want to go drink it in the kitchen. Hope you guys understand that. Um, well, I put it in my bathroom so it doesn't get all over the floor if I slip in my own room. Okay. So it's coming to this daily level right here. I would like to see it reject here. If it doesn't reject here, I think it's going to give a very massive pump. So you have to be very cautious here on Ethereum, looking at the ETH BTC chart as well too. They are clearing a lot of liquidity. They're holding this daily level here. They've tested. They've cleared all the liquidity here, right? So if this doesn't reject here, watch out. I am very cautious. Let's actually break it down. Let's push it to the 4 hour, right? Pushing it to the 4 hours is best, honestly, as of right now. Yeah, they're pumping it right now as we speak. So what is the current trend here? You were making high. I mean, that's a low, high, higher low, higher high, testing that weekly. You came down. You took out this low, right? You made a new low. But if you can remove this, then this is still a higher low relative to here. So if they're going to pump it here, it's honestly right now. Let's break it down more. Let me see what else I can find to see if there's something here that you could really capitalize. Let me remove these lines. So this is the 4 hour. I have to mark my trends. If I don't mark the trends, I don't really see what's going on with the price, to be honest. Down, up, down, right? Then you came up. Ay. Down. Okay. Okay. Did I make a new low? One sec. I need to redo that one. Because you closed, you went down. Yeah. Then, what doesn't make sense? You came up, and you closed. Would that be your trend here? Because then you made a new low, right? So, you could get away if you long here, stop loss down here, and then where else is it gonna go? Yeah, man. I really would not be surprised. It's like more cleaner than Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is like flirting with a lower high, but like we sort of painted the picture here. It's way more cleaner on Ethereum, to be honest. If it doesn't do that here and it doesn't reject, okay, so what? You just get stopped out, and then you can try again lower at the weeklies, for instance. But Ethereum is looking pretty clean. Yeah, that's what I have right now for Ethereum. If it gives you a pullback to 2040, 2436, let's go to the daily one more time. Let me just see. Because that's the current daily right here. I don't think they're going to come back down. If they do come back down to that daily level, well, you have this 4 hour start of your 4 hour swing here. They could, but I think 2434 is more likely for a test and then just go, in my opinion. But let's see. If it doesn't happen, if we don't pump and it just rejects and you just get stopped out, I think 2297 is on the table. So it's getting tight, but it looks better for up. I'm going to push it to the ETH BTC chart. And I'll give my reasoning again. Starting with the monthly, of course. So this was the monthly test on Ethereum. We're just going to mark the trends here. So you came up, down, and then pretty much you went all the way up, right? The more important thing, I'm not focused on the up part. I'm focusing on this part right here, on the part where you came down at the 0.02188 sats, because you came back and you're retesting that right now on the current monthly with 3 days left. So that's why it's a very likely possibility that if we do push on Ethereum, you're at least pushing to 3143 sats, 0.03143 sats, whatever. And then you have another 40% on Ethereum, given whatever the price is, 40% more on current price action. It's a pretty nice move, and that probably would take you at least to maybe 3,500 area, about approximately. So above there, you're pushing a lot higher, in my opinion. I think this is like the next level of support if you do get above 0.031 sats, because this downward sloping price action is all tested. So I wouldn't be surprised at least if it came back to the range highs. So it could be a possibility we're bottoming out here, and if we do bottom out here, price is looking solid. I just look back at it honestly one more time. Like, I'm not the only one who doesn't see this, right? Looks good, man. Honestly, looks good. Yeah, you did set up a long setup, but like, was your long setup looking up all the way to 3,000? Because that's what I'm looking at. I don't see any reason to be. I don't see any reason to be shorting this regions here. It's tested. I'm not interested in 20. I'm not interested in selling any of those levels. Doesn't make sense to sell any of these levels. It's tested. Why would I sell a tested area? Right? And then you have the only untested part on the daily is here. But then again, I could only imagine the momentum being so strong, just pushing up from here to here. Yeah, we'll test it, but then if you just hold, you test it and then you hold that top range, then you get the continuation. That's what makes sense to me. 2650. Yeah, that could be conservative, but like, just know it's tested. So if it's tested, why are you going to be selling it if you're, it's more likely that it's going to continue going higher, right? So yeah, that's Ethereum. Okay, let's go to Sol. Let's go to this chart. Okay. Monthly. Okay, so they front ran this monthly level here at 124. Tested. Too early, tested. Untested. Right? So these are monthly levels for Sol. Right now, it didn't test 124. It front ran it. So if it does come back down, I'd like to see what the reaction is, to be honest. And I think that's why Tops is shorting, because he thinks because we're at weekly resistance here at 148, and it does make sense because we tested that weekly. Why not come back one more time and what most people like to say, sweep the lows and then test that monthly cleanly and then go, is probably something that I have in mind. Weekly resistance is 175 as well. So that would be your next target, ideally. What else do we have on the weekly? We have weekly support here at 112. And you have weekly support down there. So if 124 doesn't hold, I honestly like 112 because who's looking as left as I am, for instance? You know, that's how I think. Who's looking here? I'm looking here. I know most people are not looking that left on the weekly time frame, especially because people are looking at the daily or 4 hour. If you look left, you're going to catch a lot of moves that most people aren't able to catch. So that's what I'm currently looking at as of right now. Disclosure, because I'm pretty transparent with my moves right now. I am short on SOL around 143-ish. And actually, as of right now, it gave a 4 hour failure below 142 because it closed below. So it could reject here. And if it does reject here, then we could probably get that pushed down to 124 for a new low. Because if you're just looking at it from the daily, you are just in a downtrending structure. So if you're playing the trend, right, lower highs and lower lows, right, lower low, right, you want this to be a lower high. It's also trying to make a lower high relative to there too, this level here. So I would like to maybe see it reject here. And if it doesn't reject here, I know there's untested 4 hour level here at 144.85. So that's your next level. It could go there, but let's see if this is going to be the lower high. If this is the lower high here on it, SOL, and it pushes lower, so be it. Let it push lower. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's why, like, for Ethereum and Bitcoin and all that, like, you see, like, for me, Ethereum looks bullish, for instance. So because I see a more bullish trade and a more easier invalidation for a bullish trade on Ethereum, right? And then again, I see a bearish and more bearish scenario for something on SOL. So it doesn't mean like, oh, I have to long Bitcoin then or short Bitcoin because it is more bearish, because SOL looks bearish. I'm just using it because my invalidations are more clear on another coin than Ethereum or than TIA or than SUI or SEI or whatever. You shouldn't be like, oh, because this coin looks bullish, I'm going to long this coin. No. It looks bullish, I'm going to long the coin that looks bullish. I'm not going to long something else thinking, oh, it's going to do more percentage. That's something that always threw me out. I was like, oh, because Bitcoin is bullish, I wanted to long Ethereum because I think, no, if Bitcoin looks bullish, long Bitcoin. I struggled with that a lot. Now I'm just learning. I was like, okay, whatever scenario plays on whatever chart, that's probably more likely than that's what's going to happen. For instance, yesterday with Ethereum, it gave a nice big pump to 25.12, which I pointed out. I even called that move, right? Like the other coins, like SOL or Bitcoin, they didn't do anything as strong compared to Ethereum, right? So if you see the setup on the coin you like, stick to that setup, and you're more likely going to get what you want than trying to look for a reason to play another coin. So that was not the SOL chart I was working on. So yeah, let's see what happens here on SOL. 4 hour failure. and a downtrending structure at with the weekly rejection. So if we're gonna get this continuation of this weekly rejection, let's see it push down more. I am short, full disclosure, like around 143 ish. So let's see. Stops are pretty tight, to be honest. Any questions, or should I call it? Or if you guys would like me to chart anything else, I can definitely do that. One more time, Ansel. Where did you say you had stops? Well, I like to see what is tested and what is untested, but my stops are up here at 148. Because that's the trend, right? My stop is here. Because if it's going to make a new high, then we know where it's going to go. Right? Then we're like, okay, we were invalidated. We're breaking structure. These levels aren't untested. And maybe we are going to push up more. Let's say I get stopped out. Right? Then you have a reason to longer pull back and then go. Sometimes it might just keep going. So that's why I have my protection here. This is tested. So if I get stopped out here, it's probably going to get above here. You have a daily resistance there as well. I'll mark these areas out one by one. But yeah. If you understand the trends, you just put them at the higher highs and higher lows. I've said this several times before. If you know the trends and know what is tested, and your stop is in the correct place, you're going to save a lot of money. Do I think it's a good trade at this price? To short it or to long it? Well, to long it, to short, yeah, you could short it here. You could either... I have too much orange on this chart. Okay. So what was I looking at? So that was the 4-hour failure. So you have 142 as a level to reject. And then you have 144.84. So let's say you're looking to short this right now. You can have a starting position here. And then if it continues to pump, you have another place to add more short. But then your invalidation would be here. So I wouldn't go full balls to the wall here, because if it goes higher, you can add more to your position and risk less, right? Because you're getting a better entry. You're moving your average price up. So then, because if it then rejects here, you know where your invalidation is, then you can get the move down. That's all you have to look at. Because maybe it's not going to reject here very cleanly, right? So you can always look for somewhere untested and higher to short. And that's how you're going to get a nice fucking move on Solana, for instance. Bullish case for Solana. Well, let's look at the daily. So on the daily for Solana, clean up this orange mess right now I made. Okay. So you have daily support here. And you have a daily support here. If you get a daily close above 144, you're probably going to push up a lot. So watch out for that. Daily closes above 144 for Solana should take you higher. But if we're trending down, like where I said we're trending, and that 4-hour zone coincides with that daily levels, it's pretty interesting. I would like to see what would happen once price gets up there. Then you can make a decision. If we do not reject, okay, maybe we're going to close above. The monthly looks bullish on Sol. Looks good. You know, there's 3 days in the month. It's holding above this monthly. is it gonna hold above this monthly? You know? So let's see what happens if it's above this monthly. And if it closes below that monthly, maybe that could be a retest too in 3 days. Yeah, yeah. If you start pumping above, getting above 144, 148 on the weekly, 148 on the weekly, then you can push up higher. I know it gets busy on the charts, but that's why I mark out the monthly and weekly and daily in different colors. So I know, okay, monthly is coming up in 2 days and 20 hours. What do I have to watch out for on the monthly? Let's see, I think maybe Sol's testing that 4 hour. It's close to it. It's coming to it. So yeah. Is there anything else you guys would like me to cover? I just covered the big three. If there's not anything else, I can ask questions on. You can ask questions on tickers or coins, ideas. Where should you put your stop loss? Because to be honest, I'm pretty toast. I just trained Muay Thai for an hour and a half, and I'm exhausted. I've been up since like 6. Circle Internet Group, is that the Circle stock? Yeah, Muay Thai is sick, dude. I because I do a lot of weight training myself, and I was always just lifting weights and all that, bench press, deadlifting. My favorite exercise is weighted pull-ups. Is this the ticker? What is CRL? So yeah, weighted pull-ups and weighted dips. I like weighted, like calisthenics weighted. I think like with the dips, I can press pretty heavy, 20, 20 kg, which is 45 pounds. And then I can do 20 kg plus, I don't know how much kg is, 25 pounds. It'd be like 70-pound dips. And then I can do 70-pound pull-ups. But I'm trying to get to like 40 kg or 90-pound. But I feel like if I start pushing that, it's gonna get a little bit too difficult for me. Okay, I don't want to get myself injured. Okay, so that was your monthly right here on. Oh no, we're on the daily. This is like a new chart, huh? It's a new. Oh yeah, you're right. It's a new stock. So I think we can only look at the daily. So this is your daily level 263. Um, next support is right here at 156. You have a gap here at 134. Came up, down, up. This is the start of your trend. Yeah, that's really what I would look for right now. Right now it's not in a. We had to push it to the 4 hour. What does it need to hold above? Well, you're trending up from here. You want to hold price above there. If it gets above 117, you're gonna push back to that 263 area. The ranges are pretty fucking big, but I would be careful with anything like this. It's very volatile. It could go 400. What is the market cap? Market cap is 48 billion. Yeah, I don't know if they're worth 48 billion, but that doesn't mean anything. What if it goes higher? Yeah, I would honestly, I would like to see maybe the gap get filled at 134. Maybe it does something like this, holds the daily above, and then you probably push higher. That'd be the best case scenario to get in on Circle. 400, 500. And then I would probably exit everything there. Because what if it just goes like this? All right? Like a Robin Hood. 34. What is Hood? What did Robin Hood do? Yeah. Did it make any all-time highs? Man, I sold my bag too fucking early on it. Yeah, you know, like that's what happens with IPOs. Goes up all the way down. So it could go higher, right? But Robinhood looks really good. I tried longing Robinhood here, and then I got stopped out. Then I got back in at around 9. think I said this, and I took some profit at 20. What is that? I think I put profit around like 30 ish, and I took more. I closed the rest of my position around 50. Then it went up a little more, pulled back, and I was looking to buy the dip here at 27 to 23, but it didn't give me that. It just fucking went. But I did pretty good. I made like almost at $9 to 40 ish, about 44. That is around almost a 400%. So 4x. Mm, AG is something I'm watching. This silver mining company. Um, I don't know. Let's look at for silver, cause silver looks really fucking bullish in my opinion. And you can't buy stocks of silver. You can buy, um, you can buy the mining companies. So you're basically buying silver that has not been dug up yet by the company. So I marked these trends right here. The yellow one on the monthly. This was a swing that took you to that all-time high. And when you're looking at something like this, what happened was you got you're holding above it, and then you got the second retest of this swing, right? I'll delete the yellow line so you can see the wick if it lets me. Gave that nice swing perfectly. So if we just stay above 130, this is probably going to push to maybe $50-$60 an ounce. And that's what it looks like right here on just the monthly chart on silver. And I'm looking at AG, First Majestic Mining Company. I pull up the volume because the volume on this company was very high around here. So it was going through an accumulation phase right here. And then you had the highest volume, and then the silver chart is lining up with this. I'm in at around 650-ish, but I would like to see maybe this go to maybe 11 or even $15, or even all-time highs 40, 50. So I don't really plan on closing this AG bag anytime soon. It's one of the best things you can get long on is anything that like is not really a risk on asset, like commodities. Commodities are something you should be paying attention to right now, because there could be a huge shift with how the money is flowing of risk on assets versus risk off assets, right? So watch out for this. TLT is something I'm watching too. TLT is same story more or less. A lot of volume at the lows here. I already painted this out. So it made a low, right? And then you made a high, and it bounces off the monthly, and it's trying to make a higher low. And the monthly is actually looking pretty fucking clean right now. So we'll see what happens with TLT. I like this. I bought around 89, 88-ish. So I wrote it all down to 83, but you're collecting dividends on this thing every month. Yeah, it doesn't pay great to be honest. So let's say if you have like $1 million in here, you're getting paid like, or not a million, like maybe like 800, 900,000. You're probably getting paid $3,000 or whatever. So if you have $1,000 in this, you're probably getting $3. It's not great, but if this continues, this can push higher. Could be a potential bottom here. Let's see what happens. If they continue not to cut the interest rates, this is probably just gonna go. If they raise interest rates, this is gonna fly even higher. But maintaining the interest rates at their current rates that they are, it's fine. It can just slowly go up. If they want to cut it, maybe it goes lower. Yeah. Anything else? Y'all doing okay? Mm, all Gucci. Let me see. Gold? Yeah, we can look at gold. Here, let me check Sol real quickly. Didn't get to that 4 hour yet. Um, Bitcoin hanging out. See if it rejects here. Let's look at ETH real quick. Not pumping yet. Let's see what happens. Maybe if they make a new high, it goes. Okay, let's look at gold. I know gold is parabolic. That's for sure. Monthly. Man. Well, that's from that down there. I have an extension to 3,500. Let's break it down. Okay. The weekly closes tomorrow. Not looking pretty. So the weekly close is not looking pretty on gold. If you could get the weekly close below here, I don't know if it's going to give the retest. If it doesn't give the retest, you're coming back down to here. I don't know how you're trading gold, for instance, but I would just use the weekly to get these moves. Just use very small leverage on it. If you're trading the futures, I think you can only have one contract, right? So I don't know what the minimum maintenance margin you have per your broker, but I think to trade gold, you need a minimum of at least $2,000 in your account. And then in the position size for gold, I don't know, you have to check the, what do you call it? CME to see what the price of the gold of what the position size of the gold is. It's probably at least six figures. So I would look for the weekly retest here if it closes below, and then I would watch for 3,200 an ounce. That's the main idea. Do you want something on the smaller time frame limitless? I'm actually curious. Let me see. What is let me open my browser. CME Group, gold futures. The maintenance. Can you imagine the maintenance margin on it? So the contract unit is 100 ounces. So, oh wow, that's a lot. So if it's 100 ounces for one contract of gold, so can you only imagine? So you're for one contract, it's $300,000 position approximately, because this is 3,300 an ounce. So it's a $330,000 position going short or long on gold. But I don't know. I don't know if you're using like Bitcoin and crypto is actually making it a lot easier, so you don't have to get in those big position sizes to trade the future markets on gold, because they're just simulating the same thing on their exchanges. But if you're trading futures on CME, right, there is the minimum. You can't just go in there and trade with like $100. Like you can deposit like into Bybit. You need a minimum of like $2,000 to trade. I'm pretty sure. So CME futures, gold, minimum margin. Oh wow. Some are a lot higher. I'm reading right now. I don't trade gold like that though. It says the minimum margin requirement for gold future contracts on the COMEX is 1,000. I mean, not 1,000. $10,065, and you need initial margin of 4,950 and a maintenance margin of 4,500. So you need 4,950 to trade gold, but if you want if you want to maintain your position, let's say if the gold goes in the opposite direction of your trade, if it goes below 4,500, your broker is going to be like, hey, you need to deposit more money. And your position size is 330,000. So can you imagine how quick that is? If it just moves like really quickly in either direction. It could be very quick. Yeah, no, of course. Yeah. Thanks for joining, Cowboy. Thanks for joining. Yeah, it's not cheap to trade gold. Well, what do you think gold brokers are using using gold for? They mainly use it to hedge. Like farmers, you can trade wheat, right? You can trade wheat. So if this is how you sort of have to look at the world. Farmers, if they have acres on acres on acres of wheat, right? And let's say they're unable to deliver the wheat that they are producing on their land, right? They come to the future markets for wheat, and wheat usually has I don't know if you can find it on TradingView, but the wheat has a futures expiration date, right? So let's say in 2027 or 2026, the farmer is like, okay, I need to buy X amount of wheat because I know I'm not going to be able to have that wheat by that time. And if they're able to buy that and the contract expires, then they get the delivery of their wheat to their farm, for instance. They use these markets to hedge themselves out if they're unable to deliver the assets that they need for their farm. I know that most people don't care about this. A lot of people left, but yeah, this is how the world works. Farmers are using this to hedge themselves in these markets, because if you have a very big farm, how else are you going to be able to make ends meet? You got to protect yourself. They're coming here, and they call their broker and be like, "Yo, I need like a $10 million worth of wheat contracts expiring by March 26th to hedge my delivery if I'm unable to deliver the goods by then." So something to keep in mind of how the world works. I don't trade that stuff, but that's what I learned in school. I took a whole class on options and futures and all this bullshit, and I was like, where's the technicals? Can you pull up a fucking Fibonacci? I'm telling my professor, I was like, can you pull up a Fibonacci or something? And this is bullshit. Isn't not bull. I didn't tell her like that, but I was like this is not fun. Where's the leverage? And my professor was actually he was a pretty cool guy. He's like 85 years old, 86, and he was trading crypto. And believe it or not, you don't have to believe me. He told me about Aave. I swear to God, he told me about Aave all the way down here. He had some insider information. And we were looking at this chart here. This is when I was in school. He told me about Aave all the way down here. He was like, the secret founder has bought like a shit ton of Aave. And I felt like this 85-year-old guy doesn't know shit. What is he talking about? And then little did I know, what we were doing, he was like, he was telling me, can you please track? He's like, go onto the blockchain and start tracking the addresses and see who is accumulating it. And I would go onto the blockchain, I'd go to Aave, I would look at the top holders of the coin. And the top holders of the coin were just accumulating, like millions and hundreds of million of Aave here. And I didn't buy any of it. I was like, this old man doesn't know shit. This is why I already had the chart set up. I ended up doing 39,000%. He had $100 in it, my professor. He turned that $100 into 66 grand. 85-year-old, like, gee, like, yeah, yeah. I'm like, I haven't talked to him in a while. Maybe I should send him an email, but maybe I can shake him out and have him give me the next next 39,000%. Please say please on top of it. Maybe he doesn't give it. All right. Okay, I'm gonna call it there. Thank you guys for joining. All right. I hope to see you guys soon. Okay. Take care.